Just Chanel here. So I am back with another video and we are going to prep some veggies. I'm super excited about this one. A lot of people have been requesting, like I'm looking over here because there's vegetables over here, but a lot of people have been requesting the vegetable prep video, and mainly because, you know, when you start like your weight loss journey or you transition into a healthier lifestyle, you are incorporating more vegetables into your diet, but a lot of people just don't know how to cook them because you're not used to eating them all the time. If you like go out to eat, you know, you're always getting like french fries or mashed potatoes or something. Like, it's not, you don't really get a lot of vegetables, a lot of vegetable options when you are out and about. So the baby's laughing. If you guys hear giggles and things, it's because I have the TV on and she's playing. But yeah, let's go ahead and just hop right into it. I'm only making portions for one person, so if you are cooking for a family or you meal prepping, of course you can use more, but I just wanted to show you guys a variety of vegetables and how to prepare them. Yeah, so let's get to it and get back to business. All right, so I have some Beyonce playing too. I guess I'll just kind of show you guys the layout first. A little bit of salt here, and I don't even know if I'm gonna actually use salt. I'll kind of decide as I start cooking, because you guys know that I don't use salt in a lot of things. Oh my goodness, a lot of noise going on here. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm sorry if this is overwhelming. But okay, so I have some pepper, I have garlic and onion powder, and then Italian seasoning, and then of course the salt. I also pulled out some honey, and you guys will see why I'm using that later. Some cinnamon, and then olive oil. Oh, you know what? I need to grab some butter. Ma'am, what are you doing? So we're just gonna grab some butter. Y'all know I love to cook with butter. So it's just something I'm not gonna cut out. Like, it makes everything taste good. So I'm going to try to only use like probably half of this stick for all of my vegetables, because I can go overboard when it comes to the butter. But if you can leave butter out of like cooking vegetables and just use olive oil and stuff, do that, because it's healthier, or even coconut oil. So actually I may use some coconut oil for something, but we'll see. So then I have just a baking sheet here. I covered it with foil, and then I have like a bunch of skillets out because I'm making a lot of stuff. These are all the veggies. So we have some tomatoes, mushrooms, green beans, carrots, sweet peppers. I pulled out a sweet potato. I already put my oven on 400 to bake this. And then I have some onions and garlic, and orange and a lemon, spinach, broccoli, zucchini, and squash, and then asparagus. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm actually going to kind of cut some of these things up, just wash them, prep them a little bit, and then we'll start cooking. I'm cooking the potato first because of course it takes the longest, so I'm just wrapping this in some foil and then popping it right into a 400-degree preheated oven. And I just put it right in there. Hot, no. Alright y'all, so I went ahead and cut everything up, and I put my butter and oil into my pans. I'm using butter only in one of them, olive oil only in one of them, and then the other two have both olive oil and butter, and I didn't even use that much butter. Like, I'm so proud of myself. So I'm just I turned the stove on, I'm just letting that melt down. Alright, so we are going to start with our carrots. Oh gosh, there's so much on this cutting board. So I'm just going to grab these and put them in the butter here. So I'm just letting my carrots soften a little bit in the pan before I add the rest of the ingredients. I also put like onions, peppers, and garlic in some of the other pans to start the other vegetables, of course with the butter and oils. So I like to keep water by the stove because, I don't know, it just kind of like helps steam the vegetables, and also so they don't like burn, and a lot of the times I like to cover them as well. So now I'm just adding the orange juice from one orange to the carrots, and this is going to give them like a tangy sweet flavor. It's really good. It's almost like a dessert. Like, a lot of people don't eat carrots by themselves, but this recipe is amazing. And then I have some garlic for the green beans, onions and garlic for the asparagus, and then onions and peppers for the spinach. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my green beans because they usually take about 15 minutes to cook. I like to cook them on low, and I add water to the pan so that they can simmer. I'm adding some seasoning as well, garlic and onion powder, and then some pepper. I also added a little bit of salt. I think this is probably the only thing I'm gonna add salt to besides the squash and zucchini. And then our carrots are looking really good. Just adding some cinnamon to those. Gonna mix it around a bit to make sure that cinnamon is all over. And then I'm also adding a little bit of honey. That's about a teaspoon of honey. You don't want to add too much because you don't want them to be like, you still want them to be a vegetable, you know. So I'm just going to cover that, and our carrots will pretty much be done in a few minutes. Now I'm just mixing that seasoning all over the green beans, and I'm going to go ahead and add the water to the pan. We want to kind of get that to a boil, and then we'll cover it so that it can simmer down. And then once all that water evaporates, the green beans will be nice and flavorful. So next we're going to do our asparagus, and yeah, let's go ahead and cover that. Okay, so our asparagus, we're adding asparagus to the pan with garlic and onions, and this is going to be like a lemon herb asparagus. So I'm adding some garlic and onion powder as well as pepper, and I decided to just shake it on there because you see my seasonings, they get like stuck to my hands because they're really good. They're from the farmer's market. I'm gonna do a like seasoning tour of my pantry soon, but anyway, I added some Italian seasoning as well, and then juice from half a lemon, just stirring that all up. And I don't cover the asparagus because I find that when you cover it, it makes them like really mushy. But our carrots look really good. It's caramelized at the bottom, so I'm just kind of mixing all that around. I'm gonna go ahead and turn our carrots on low and then move on to our spinach because everything is almost finished. So let's go ahead and put our spinach in the pan, and I'm sure you guys know that spinach shrinks a lot, so I usually use about 2 handfuls for 1 serving size for myself. If you're feeding a whole family, you may need to use like an entire pack of spinach, like an actual like the box type of pack, because it shrinks a lot. Next we're doing our squash and zucchini, and this came out so good. Like, I actually made it again after filming this video because it was that good. So I just had this squash and zucchini as well as tomato slices and mushrooms. I'm just kind of layering all that on this baking sheet that I covered with some foil. If you want to use fresh herbs on this as well, you can do that. I think that would be a really nice touch. And then I said nice touch like I'm getting dressed or putting makeup or something on. But anyway, I added some onions as well. And then I'm just going to add salt, pepper. Oh, and then of course the olive oil. So you want to make sure you drizzle it with some olive oil and that everything is evenly coated so that it actually roasts, I guess, well. You want to use quite a bit of salt, but like don't go overboard, but you want the flavors, like you want to be able to taste the flavors, because once the squash and zucchini start to soften, and then I like to use portobello mushrooms, like the flavors are really good when you add just enough salt. So just checking on the asparagus now, and it's pretty much finished. I don't know how a green bean got in there. Then mixing my spinach around, I like to wait until my spinach is almost done to add the seasoning and a little bit of water. So I'm going ahead and adding some garlic and onion powder to this, and then a little bit of pepper as well. Then just a tiny bit of water because we don't want it to stick to the pan or get like crunchy. Our carrots, they're just so good. They're finished. Our sweet potato is pretty soft. I'm gonna let it stay in there for just a second. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the broccoli, and I just pierced the bag with a fork. I'm putting it on 3 minutes because I don't wanna like overcook it. If I do, use it for something a few days from now and warm it up. I just didn't want it to be like overcooked. So I usually go ahead and season my broccoli in the container that I'm storing it in. I always put some butter in there because you guys know how much I love butter. And then I'm also adding pepper and some like garlic and onion powders. I just put the top on and shake it around, and then have my sweet potato. I went ahead and took my asparagus and spinach out of the pan, as well as my carrots. And now we're just waiting on the green beans and the squash and zucchini. So I would definitely recommend, if you're cooking the squash and zucchini by itself without like cooking a bunch of other vegetables, turning your oven on 425 just to cook it a little bit faster. Now I'm just taking my green beans out of the skillet and putting it in a container with the rest of the veggies. I just decided to kind of put everything together because I know that all these vegetables probably only gonna last me like 2 days. So yeah, I didn't want to take up too much space in my refrigerator. And then our squash and zucchini is finished, so the middles are nice and soft, and I'm just putting that in a separate container. It was so good. Like, I ate this whole container in one like meal. And I mean, it's vegetables, so make sure you make them good because you can eat as much as you want. And like, when I cook vegetables that are really, really good, it makes me not even want to eat meat sometimes. So yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But maybe I'll make a video soon on like detox days, because sometimes I only eat fruits and vegetables like in a day. So I'm just finishing that up, and we have all of our veggies. Like, everything came out really, really good. It looks amazing, it tastes amazing, and the best thing is definitely the squash and zucchini. So hopefully this provided some ideas for y'all, and everything's nice and green and fresh. There's so many different vegetables like you can try. I mean, there's beets. I think I might have mentioned cooking some beets, like roasting beets. And then of course there's more green vegetables. I'm thinking of doing like a cauliflower pizza too. So if y'all are interested in that, just let me know. All right, y'all, so I will see you in the next video. This watermelon is banging, okay? But thanks so much for watching. See y'all.